ultimate disruptor, taking on the baddest man on the planet. July 20th, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. It will be the massive, biggest event. Get on your feet, Arlington, Texas. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
Day 4, it was okay, but you don't know what you got in store, baby. You gotta face the God of War. And get ready, baby. Fire's in the house. One more. Day 3, you still wanna with me?
When you were working out with Cordero and you were ripping to the body and throwing those hooks, I was like, this is a man who's preparing to go to combat. This is not normal getting ready to work out shit. That's why when I saw that video, I was like, oh.
Want me to tell you something about that video?
Yeah.
I did that video and I was in bed for a week. That was 30 seconds and I was in bed for a week. And it's not funny because it made me realize that this is big boy shit. Okay.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul may have been postponed due to Mike Tyson's poor health. However, that hasn't stopped the boxing legend from training and taking jabs at his opponent, Jake Paul. Mike Tyson has reportedly resumed training after his recent medical emergency where he suffered an ulcer flare-up while on a flight from Miami to New York. The very next day, Tyson released a statement where he sent a stern warning to Paul stating that the fight may have been postponed, but that's not going to stop him knocking out Paul when they finally meet in the ring.
Different date, same fate. I'm gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Following Tyson's recent medical complications, many have been urging him to pull out of this fight. They can't see the legendary boxer put his life and reputation at risk against a YouTuber who has only taken up boxing 5 years ago. Many have been criticizing Paul for wanting to fight Tyson, but Paul hasn't budged from his decision since calling out Tyson in May. Paul has invested in this fight through his boxing promotions company, Most Valuable Promotions. He has partnered with Netflix to stream the fight on their platform. The streaming service even released a promo for the fight when it was officially announced last month. With all the time and resources being poured into this fight, canceling it now would mean a huge loss for the organizers. Hence, it was recently announced that the fight would be postponed and a new date was recently announced. The fight is now scheduled to take place on November 15th, 2024 at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. The undercard fights, most notably Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, will also be a part of this event. Jake Paul may be secretly annoyed about the fight's postponement. However, he didn't create a fuss and apologized to the fans and fighters on the undercard. He also shared his appreciation for Tyson wanting this fight to happen.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. Opportunity has been ripped from all of us, but I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy, I have so much respect for him, and I want Mike to be healthy. And he says he still is gonna knock me out, and I bought myself some time. So Mike is still talking shit over there. But Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you've said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time. So I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity. I think this fight's gonna change the world, and I turn all my L's into W's. That's a motto I live by, and the universe makes no mistakes. So let's see what's in store. But sorry this didn't work out. To everyone, the fans, love you guys.
Jake Paul may have agreed to a fight with Mike Tyson in November. However, that doesn't mean he's going to stay idle and disappoint his fans with no boxing bouts. It's being reported that Paul will not wait till November to get back into the boxing ring. Paul has decided to keep the date that was slated for the blockbuster showdown with the legendary heavyweight and will instead face mixed martial artist and the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship's platinum Mike Perry in an 8-round cruiserweight bout at the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Rather than wait for the new date, Paul decided to not squander a training camp and will stay busy by facing the undefeated BKFC fighter in the event billed as Fear No Man, which will be available via DAZN pay-per-view. For those who do not know, Mike Perry has been interested in fighting Jake Paul for a long time. He has been calling out the problem child to fight since ages, and many will be glad he's fighting Paul on July 20th. A frustrated Mike Perry recently shared his thoughts on potential future fights. Have a look.
185, I'm damn near perfect here. Perfect platinum at 185. So Darren Till, he ain't gonna answer that call because he had time off too.
He also had this warning for Jake Paul regarding a potential fight.
Jake Paul, 230 pounds. Do I need to put some weight on and go fight somebody? You know, who? I'll fight anybody. Bare knuckle, they won't come do it with me. So what do I gotta do a Star is Born. I'm in Hollywood right now, bro. Put me in the movies. Don't nobody want the smoke.
Jake Paul also released a statement on his YouTube channel regarding his upcoming fight against Perry. Have a look.
Yeah, the news is true, folks. I, Jake Paul, will be fighting Mike Perry, Tampa, Florida, July 20th.
Paul went on to explain that he's fighting Mike Perry to gain some experience before his big fight against Mike Tyson. This might sound like a warm-up fight for Paul, but Paul makes it clear that Mike Perry isn't a slouch and one of the most powerful punchers and a bare-knuckle boxing legend.
Hi, Mike Perry. Why now? Why not just wait? What about Mike Tyson? Yes, I am still fighting Mike Tyson November 15th. However, Mike Tyson is one of the baddest men on this planet. He has way more experience than me. He's a killer. And so why not gain more experience against another notorious known killer? Mike Perry, the bare knuckle legend, the man that can't be knocked out, the vicious, violent brawler.
Perry with the left hook.
Paul does seem serious about this fight. He went on to describe Mike Perry and give fans a teaser about his opponent.
This guy is a fucking lunatic. He's undefeated in bare knuckle, which is probably the craziest sport in the world. And not to mention, this fight has been brewing for years. Mike Perry has been talking shit to me non-stop, and I do think this guy is funny. I like his shit talk, and I think this fight is gonna have some amazing press conference moments and really entertaining stuff that comes from it. But it is a major risk. I am literally potentially sacrificing the biggest moment of my career, the biggest payday of my career, if I lose to Mike Perry. But for some reason, these are the positions that I like to put myself in and that I feel like I have to put myself in to get better inside the ring under the lights. And just being honest, at one point we made the decision to not do this fight. We were like, let's not do it, let's just wait for Mike. And then I went to sleep that night, and then the next night, and I was sitting there and I was like, you know what, F it, why not? This is who I am. The problem child came out of me, and I want to show the world that I can go in there against this guy who everyone already thinks is gonna win, and prove everyone wrong once again and get that W.
Paul further discussed his ambitions to become a world boxing champion, emphasizing that he needs to stay active and keep fighting in order to prove to the world and himself that he has the capabilities to do the impossible. He also had a few words for Perry.
In my career, I have to play catch up in terms of experience. I have to stay active if I really do want to become world champion. Mike Tyson is still coming, but this train stops for nobody. I fear no man. I will fight wherever, whenever, whoever. I say that, and I think by now y'all truly know that I actually back that. By now, I truly back that up. So quite simply, this is a Mike appetizer. Mini Mike, my son. It is true, Mike Perry was birthed by me many, many years ago. I love him like a son, and just like Mike Tyson, I just have to discipline him. I'm shooting a f***ing video. Get out of the background. Smell like shit. Now you smell good. And as the old fable goes, Mike Perry, bare knuckle legend, but he will be turned into a bare a bear chuckle. I'm gonna turn this. If I drink the Celsius, it'll come to me. I drink Celsius. I'm gonna turn the bare knuckle legend into a bear chuckle sandwich.
That's really bad.
That's good, right? Thank you. Look at that, Mike Perry. You're not the only one with a bear on his knuckle. Editor, if you could just put a bear on my knuckle. Thank you.
Paul also predicted his bout against Perry and promised his fans a knockout. He also talked about his training regimen and other details regarding the July 20th fight.
Mike Perry, when I knock you out in less than 3 rounds, don't call the wambulance. Did that scare him?
Chef E's a Chef E is a giant.
How fast is he gonna pipe out? Oh, nice shirt.
Pipe out? Did you say pipe out?
My bad.
Yo!
My bad. How fast do you think he's gonna pipe out Mike Perry?
No.
What?
Knockout.
You're gonna pipe Mike Perry?
What?
You're gonna Mike Perry?
Maybe.
Wait, when you Mike
He's
Perry?
kind of cute. July 20th.
Can I come?
Huh? Tickets go on sale in a couple of days here, so stay tuned. Right back at the Amalie Arena where I knocked out Tyron Woodley. So it's my lucky stadium. My official prediction for the fight, 3 rounds or less. Calling it now. These guys can't hang with me. Nobody's really been able to see my skill for the past year. I've had new coaches. Development has gone amazing, and I'm excited to put on a performance July 20th. Get this knockout, get this W at Walmart.
Jake Paul versus Mike Perry does seem like an exciting fight, and a few experts have shared their predictions already. Michael Bisping recently gave his opinions on this fight.
And that man is not 58 years old. He's a badass. He's a real fighter. He's a tough test. He's not a boxer necessarily, but he is a man from the bare knuckle world. And you know who I'm talking about. It's the Platinum One himself. Platinum Mike Perry, a man that I have a lot of respect for because this man is a real fighter. Now,
Bisping went on to summarize both fighters' history, skills, and big fights. Bisping has ample respect for Perry and believes Paul is fighting a great fighter.
and now there is a new date set with a new opponent. Mike Perry versus Jake Paul will go down July 20th. From various reports, and people are talking about this like it's actually going to happen. So, a lot of thoughts, okay? Jake Paul is rolling the dice here, okay? He's rolling the dice. He's grown a set of balls. He's taking on a man that is in his fighting prime, but a man that isn't a boxer. Now, Mike Perry, as we know, had a good run in the UFC. He went 14-8. He had some big fights. He lost some. He won some. No, he was a very entertaining guy. Then he went over to the bare knuckle world. And that is where Mike Perry became a star, found his groove, and started making a ton of money, regardless of what Sean Strickland says. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Sean Strickland and Mike Perry getting into a little bit of beef. But Mike Perry went over to the Bare Knuckle Association and beat some truly great fighters. Number 1, Michael Venom Page, a man that's fighting at UFC 303 against Ian Gary, right? And he's closing in on a UFC title fight in just 2 fights. Michael Venom Page is tall, he's long, he's quick, but Mike Perry is an absolute savage. He also beat my old mate.
You're just an average bloke. Good use of English. I'm a samurai.
Luke Rockhold, yeah, went forward, got him done, knocked his teeth out, stopped the fight. Didn't knock him out, but knocked his front teeth out. And Luke Rockhold was like, listen, I'm too pretty for this. I'm done. Also took out the likes of Eddie Alvarez, a former UFC lightweight champion, and of course, Thiago Alves, a man that fought for the welterweight strap against George St. Pierre at UFC 100. So, no stranger to fighting great people. In the UFC, I think he went 14-8. So 20 fights or so, 22 fights in the UFC. And on the flip side, for the last few years, we had Jake Paul coming from the YouTubing world into the boxing. He had a slow progression before he took on a real test, okay? He took on a basketballer. He took on Ben Askren. He took on Tyron Woodley, to be fair, but not the old Tyron Woodley. The fire's gone out and doesn't throw a punch version of Tyron Woodley. No disrespect to the former champion, of course. He did fight a real boxer once. That man's name was Tommy Fury, okay? A beginner, an amateur, but a young man in his prime and he lost. And a real fighter wants to go for the rematch, but he didn't do that. He moved on, and yeah, sure, he beat Nate Diaz. Of course, he beat Anderson Silva as well, who will be boxing again soon against Chael Sonnen, which is a surprising matchup, although I am very intrigued. In Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva. Now, there's a couple of guys in the boxing world that Jake Paul did beat. Andre August and Ryan Borland. Guys that are boxers, okay? But they're now working as Uber drivers and stuff like that, and they're way past their prime and they're way out of
Bisping also talked about why Paul is making a massive mistake fighting Mike Perry, pointing out he's one of the most skilled and athletic boxers compared to Paul's previous opponents. However, he also acknowledged Paul for putting in effort, training with the best professionals, and even deciding to take on some of the most powerful opponents such as Perry.
Mike Perry's a savvy. Listen, and he's got good technique. When you look at the boxing of Jake Paul, even though he was going up against Mike Tyson, there was a chance, there was the danger that he would lose that fight in devastating fashion. There was a danger he would get knocked out because he loops his shots. He's not technical, he's not sharp. Yeah, he's got power, he's a young man, he's in his prime, and he's not a bad lump of a man. So of course he's gonna have power, and he's dedicated himself, and he's got some good trainers, and he's improving all the time. So fair play, I give him respect for that, because anyone that steps in the ring, they deserve your respect. They do, if you're taking on tough tests. Now, he thinks Mike Perry's easy work. He thinks Mike Perry's got a big name, he's a big star, and he's gonna go out there and beat him, right? But he's wrong. Mike Perry is a fighter. Mike Perry wasn't necessarily the best jiu-jitsu artist or had the best wrestling, but there's not a fight that Mike Perry won't take. I've spoken to Mike Perry on several occasions, and he is the epitome of a real fighter. And he's an absolute star in the bare knuckle organization.
Bisping also shared a clip of his previous interview with Perry where he talked about Paul. Have a look.
I want to see what this Jake Paul right hand punch is doing. And when he hit with it, I remember it coming down, splitting my guard, bam! And as I come back, I'm like this. Oh, that was a good one. Come here. They were like, oh yeah, you're a sniper. They stopped saying that the fourth round. Then he started running into my because he moves his head like, you know, those boxers do. And I started timing him. I would throw the jab, he would slip, and I would rip the uppercut.
But speaking of Perry's beef with Jake Paul, here's another clip of him calling out the problem child.
I was trying to work with him, and then he wanted to be an asshole to me. So that. Anytime I'll fight Jake Paul. Anytime. He knows what happened last time. He tried to put that video out, and then he stopped talking when I responded, didn't he? I'm the money fight. Everybody knows that anyways. I mean, Jake Paul's a big name. Mike Tyson, you know, I said I want to be included with the best fighters of all time.
This fight between Mike Perry and Jake Paul could be just as exciting as his now postponed fight against Mike Tyson. It could also calm down many from the boxing world who are against this fight. To give you a reminder, let's look at some of the reactions and predictions for the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight.
And Tyson, I don't care who you are, nobody's above Father Time. Tyson's what, like 6 years old, I think?
Tyson is 57.
57.
And Jake Paul is 27.
Yeah, you know, man, that you know, no matter how much of an athlete and mean Tyson was in his prime, this is way past his prime. So I just don't know how much of Tyson is left, you know? All these heavyweights that Tyson's been fighting, those shots just don't go away. You know, he's gotten hit by some of the hardest hitters that ever walked planet Earth, dead square on the jaw. So that only gets worse with time, you know. So could Jake beat him? Yeah. But is that Mike Tyson? No, it's not fucking Tyson. We all know who Mike Tyson is. But obviously he's not fighting Mike Tyson. He's fighting the shuttle Mike Tyson. I don't know, man. Maybe I overthink things like this in this matter too much, but there's too much.
This thing is going to look terrible on TV. You think this thing is going to draw more than Mike versus Roy? You think this thing is going to draw more than Fury versus Francis? It's going to look ridiculous in an 80,000 seat arena. And what would be the reason that they're boxing? Money. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we understand that. That doesn't work. It's a flop. It's a flop. Floyd and Connor in the fight capital of the world did less than 12,000 tickets. Come on, man. In Texas? Come on.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm a hardcore boxing fan. He's one of my heroes. I find it very sad. But it's a big event. I understand people are going to watch it. And it's entertainment, I guess. But for someone that idolised the guy growing up, yeah, not the best day.
You think Jake Paul gets any credibility if he beats Mike Tyson?
He's 58 years old.
So this is a lose-lose for Jake Paul. You can't go out there and potentially beat up Uncle Mike, the guy that's so loved by the world. You don't get no cool points for that. Let's say you go in there and you do beat up Uncle Mike. So you think now people are gonna respect you. Oh, Jake Paul, yeah, you beat Mike Tyson, 58-year-old Mike Tyson. No, you're not gonna get the respect for that. In fact, I think it'd actually be worse. People might hate you more because it's Uncle Mike. Everyone loves Uncle Mike. But on the flip side, you go out there and you get put to sleep, which is a possibility because Uncle Mike still has that punching power. He's still ferocious and he will still come at you. You go out there and get put to sleep. Let's just go ahead and sign the death certificate of your career. There's no more career after that.
In Riyadh, Mike Tyson at his age is facing a YouTuber that is much younger and hungry and capable of boxing as well. So it's going to be a good example for people that are at Mike's age.
Yeah.
It's also actually a good example for me to keep on punching, so to speak, and hopefully, and I look forward to that match as well. You can only be too old in your mind.
Yeah.
If you control your mind, you control everything in your life.
These people will bear a sigh of relief with the latest announcement. Mike Tyson might be offended that Paul is taking on an experienced fighter before their November clash. But we'd love to hear from you. What do you think of the July 20th fight between Paul and Mike Perry? Who wins this one? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.